famed for her brilliantly bright hair and equally bold printed designs, Dame Zandra Rhodes is synonymous with 70s and 80s style, having dressed the likes of Jackie Kennedy, Freddie Mercury, and Diana Ross. Her new memoir, Iconic: My Life in 50 Objects, explores her singular career, as well as family dynamics and romantic pursuits, through her most treasured possessions. Mummy dressed to the nines in the most extraordinary clothes, which I hated because other people noticed her, says Zandra, 84. Her childhood aversion to being noticed may seem odd, but it's what helped build who she is. I used to ask her not to look so different from all the other mothers, but those are the things that lead you to experiment later in life. It must have been the influence of my mother in the background to everything. In contrast, Zandra declares the most difficult person to write about was her father. I considered him unfairly, because he was a bit of what you call a rough diamond, she says. I think children are terrible snobs. I felt he could have advanced himself more and he didn't. Zandra felt the influence of her mother more heavily, who always encouraged her work, whereas her father never mentioned it. It's only later in life, listening to someone like my sister who said, "Oh, he was always talking about you," that I realized he did take an interest. Color has always been integral to Zandra's work. Her knitted landscape scarf was part of her first collection in 1969, and features dramatic swirls and a whimsical use of color. She says, "My first choice is always the brighter colorway. If it was all beige, I think I wouldn't feel as lively. Surroundings have more of an impact than you think. I remember painting my bedroom all black and one couldn't get up in the morning. It was terrible. It got changed very quickly. We all have to live by things that make us keep going and feel better, and my pink hair makes me feel better in the morning." By the early 80s, Zandra was already a firm fixture on the fashion scene, but her life changed thanks to Lady Diana Spencer and Sarah Ferguson. One wet day in the early spring of 1981, two 20-something women walked into my Mayfair shop and changed the profile of my brand forever, Zandra recounts. Despite having dressed royals such as Princess Margaret and Princess Anne already, she suspected the demure-looking Diana would find her style a bit much. Indeed, Diana did buy a dress, but for Sarah, not herself. Yet, 5 years later, Diana revisited Zandra's shop and tried on an off-the-shoulder dress from the designer's 1985 India Revisited collection. The royal requested to have it remade in pink chiffon. Zandra drew a watercolor of the dress, which Diana wore that same year, and which in turn altered the path of the designer's working life. This object represents hope, which some fear is lost for today's younger generation. I think young people will always have aspirations, says Zandra. The trick is to not give up and find new pathways. The new pathways won't be what we knew, but maybe they'll be better in the end. Iconic: My Life in Fashion in 50 Objects by Zandra Rhodes with Ella Alexander, Bantam, £25, is out now.